It's record, yeah. So once again, I welcome everyone to the step-by-step guide to content writing 4 weeks course. And of course, this is a 4 weeks training. And in the past 2 weeks, we've dealt extensively on introduction to content writing, types of content, and that was what we did in week one. In week two, we spoke about content structure, types of content structure, crafting an headline, topic research, and of course, based on we touch based on search intent as well, right? So please, as you are joining, let's mute ourselves. Anyone that does not mute, I'll kick them out. Thank you. Yeah. So today we'll be going a bit deeper into content writing as a whole, and this is one topic that literally everyone is interested in. And guess what it is? We'll be talking about search engine optimization, right? And I'm very sure a whole lot of you are excited to know more about SEO. You probably heard the what's it called? You probably heard the term several times, and you're thinking, oh wow, what does this really mean? And as a matter of fact, some professionals feel search engine optimization is already a cliche, right? Why not just like use a different term like okay, search ranking, content ranking, and a whole lot of other convenient terminologies that professionals can use as it suits their context. And of course, in week four, we'll be talking about career path for content writers and how to be a great content writer. There is no bus stop to this, of course, right? But yeah, today I have a lot of icebreakers like we did in the first week. And of course, this week we have yearly members. That is the Young Africa Leadership Initiative. We have the members, and I sincerely appreciate the leadership of Yali for thoughting it necessary to be a part of this training. And of course, it shows that the team after the growth of the community. So thank you so much for putting this together once again. Yeah, so let's go deep. So for some of us, this is what our problem. Like you're a content creator, you're a creative writer, you think, okay, I want to write SEO friendly articles, right? And you are confused. Where do I even start, right? Like I don't even know how to go about this. This all look messed up. But don't worry, I have something for you. Yeah, this is it. Maybe you've been writing for humans alone all your life, but SEO really involves writing for human beings and bots, right? I remember in our first training, we spoke about writing in general, and we relate writing to speaking. And we said in the early 20th century, a whole lot of people were passionate about becoming public speaker. Not until when we had this information explosion and the digital age became a thing that everybody wanted to do. And all of a sudden, we started seeing people that wanted to become a blogger, right? So the passion shifted from public speaking to blogging. But a whole lot of people write for the web, but they don't know how to write for the web. But I've niche it down to two things. When you're writing for the web, you are writing for two sets. You're writing for humans and you're writing for bots. Either you're writing for Facebook, they call it Facebook algorithm. You're writing for Instagram, they call it Instagram algorithm, or whatever thing. When you're writing for Google too, Google algorithm and all of that, all of these things are bots. So the first thing you want to have at the back of your mind when you're doing SEO writing is you're writing for human beings and you're writing for bots, robots, that is the machine, yeah? But the funny thing is, in as much as you're writing for that, the goal of everyone is to appear on the first page of Google, right? And there's this cliche they use one that I would like to use once again. They say the best place to hide a dead body is on the second page of Google. And the funny thing is, one does not simply get to the top of Google ranking, right? You don't simply get there. How do you get there? Don't worry. I will teach you how to get there. So now, what does SEO stands for? It simply stands for search engine optimization. I'm very sure a whole lot of us know that already. But what are the elements that you really want to have at the back of your mind when you're writing SEO friendly? One, you want to make sure that your content is well structured. You want to make sure that it is readable. You want to make sure that it is clear, and you want to make sure that it is robust and very informative, right? So now, what is SEO really? SEO is the process of improving your site to increase its visibility for relevant searches, right? So to better visibility, to better make your pages and what's it called, your overall website visible. And when we talk of visibility online, we talk of when people search for different queries or when they input something online. What do you want them to see, right? You really want them to see your page, right? So that's when you position or when you optimize your website in such a way that you are always this first guy to show up when they search for anything within your industry, then we can say your page is well optimized, right? And that is where we got it from, where we got search on engine optimization. You know, we have different type of search engines. We have Google, we have Mama, you have ads.com, and of course we have search engine that's driven towards social cause and the likes, right? But in this lecture, we'll focus mainly on Google. Since Google really gets the biggest, what's it called? It gets the largest search in the world. Trillions of search goes on Google every, what's it called? Every week. And of course, 95% of search today are done on Google, right? So what do you really think SEO experts do? Your friends probably think like you're this cool guy that sits in front of your laptop all day. The society thinks, oh, you're this nerd who is probably always interacting with the computer. Google think you are this black hat guy, always disturbing the boat, chipping in new content and all of that. And your clients feels like, oh, this guy just really want to make money off me, right? But what do you really do? You do something that really makes you feel cool about yourself. You do something that adds value to the world, right? But in the reverse order, yeah, this guy who is always on Google's neck, quote and unquote, thinking of, oh, when do I really get on the first page? When am I really going to rank well and all of that? So that is why you have the last meme there, right? So for you to really rank well, it's very important to know the factors that affect search engine optimization. Number one, I've divided them into 4 major parts. We have the on-page SEO, we have off-page SEOs, we have black ads, and we have it evolves. Don't worry. You're probably thinking it evolves. How does that really affect SEO? Don't worry, I'll get to that later. So first thing first, on-page SEO really talks about your content and your structure, as well as how you structure your sitemap and other, what's it called, SEO, technical SEO analytics that you do on your website. So, but for the purpose of this training, since it's just the introductory aspect, I will dwell extensively on content, really, right? That is it for on-page SEO. So for on-page SEO, those are the activities you really have control over. The activities that goes on your website, right? Off-page SEO, there are SEO, there are what's it called, activities that increases your your website ranking with little or no influence from you, right? I said little or no influence because it involves link building. And I don't know if a whole lot of us know about link building, but I really won't bore us with that. So what link building involves is, having some of your articles linked on another person's website, right? So now, how do people get involved in link building? A whole lot of guys do link exchange. Some guys pay for link, and some guys really just post a whole lot of good things, and people go on their page and feels like, oh wow, I like what these guys have there. Let me include it on our on our website. So when you have a backlink on your website linking to another page, what you're doing there is link building. And what link building really does to a website is it increases the domain authority. Don't let's go into what domain authority is. You don't need that for now. Let's keep it strictly content. Then we have black hat. Black hat is the illegal practice in SEO optimization, where people go through dubious means to make sure that their websites rank well by paying both and by getting involved in both clicks, having a whole lot of automation on their website that does not amount to human visits, right? Yeah, then we have, I said, then the last one is it evolves, really. So search engine optimization evolves. How does it evolve? Every month, quarterly, what's it called? Every 6 months, yearly, and all of that. Google introduces new system into its SEO activities. And as a website owner or as a content creator, you really want to know what's new about Google. Today, Google does not show people the same search results. I don't know if you've noticed that. I can search for what is SEO, and you will search for what is SEO. You get different results. So now, what Google does today is to show you content based on your activities, right? So maybe you this guy who is always searching for what's it called? Who is always searching for something that involves lifestyle or whatever thing you search for. Google will most likely show you a definition of SEO that is related to that, right? So it's very important for you to know that okay, if I'm in line with what's it called? If I'm an SEO writer or I fall within that niche, these days I can actually tweak some of my content to suit other industries since Google favors niche websites or niche blogs, right? So those are the 4 factors you really want to have at the back of your mind as you do SEO writing. So please, once again, let's mute ourselves off your video. I don't want to see your face. Thank you so much. So what really goes on Google, and this page just really what's it called, explains this very well. And it goes like, hey girl, is your name Google? And it feels like you've got everything I'm searching for. And what are those things? Everybody wants to rank well, everybody wants to know things, and the only place we all run to is Google, right? And as a content creator, what does this mean for you? It means that if everybody goes to Google to know everything, you really want to position yourself as that authority that teaches people how to know everything or that teaches people everything. And how do you do that? You write content. This is because Google depends heavily on content, right? And remember, at the beginning of the section, we said when you're writing for two entities. You're writing for human beings and you're writing for both, right? So it's very important that you understand content structure when you're writing, because really, irrespective of the SEO tool you use, when you're trying to optimize, you will see a whole lot of things involving around how you structure your content. Of course, we dealt with this extensively last week, but I'm just going to brush through it and make sure that those who are joining us for the first time get to know things, right? So for content structure, how do you want to start your website? What's it called? Your content rather. Aside your headline, which is your H1, for those who want to blog or who are what's it called, who publishes on different blogs, you know what H1, H2, H3, H4, and all of that. I don't know if you know what they are used for, but I'll just tell you a bit of that. So your H1 really is your headline. Your H2 is a subtopic under your headline. Your H3 is a subtopic under your sub-headline. So let's say, for instance, you're writing on how to build a website, right? So your headline goes like 6 quick steps to build a website, right? And in your introduction, you tell us what website builders are and all of that, why it's important to have a website builder. And your H2, you want to tell us examples of website builders, right? So you create another H2, examples of website builders, and you create an H3 where you list out each of these website builders. You talk of WordPress, Joomla, Shopify, and the list goes on and on, right? So you really want to make sure that your headline, your H1, is about a problem. A whole lot of people don't know how to build your website, and I'm here to tell you how. The next thing is break down your topic into subtopics. I said already, discuss findings. Why should I be worried? Is it because 60% of people who have a website today use a website builder, or using a website builder is less expensive, right? So you really want to tell me about some of these findings. And you don't just tell me these findings, you have to use statistics, right? People really want to know that, oh, am I the only one here? So if you use the statistics, you tell them that, oh, you're probably not the only one, but you are probably among the few ones who are left behind, right? So use statistics a lot, define your concepts, evaluate each query you're writing on, and finally wrap it up. That is how you structure your content. I'm sorry for brushing this up. We dealt extensively on that last week. And of course, the section will be uploaded on YouTube, and I will encourage you all to go check it out, right? So next thing, So hold on a minute. I can see a whole lot of H1 tags on this page, right? So because I said you should use H1, H2, H3, and all of that, that does not mean you shouldn't know how to structure your content, right? You really want to structure your content super well, right? I already explained how to use H2, H3, and the likes. So content SEO. So what does it really involve? What element should your content, what's it called? What characteristics should your content really portray for you to be for it to be said to be SEO friendly? Number one, it should be quality, right? As a matter of fact, Google ranks quality ahead of quantity. You can have 1,000 blog posts on your website and still not rank. And someone who just has 20 is really ranking for those 20 posts, right? So prioritize quality ahead of quantity. Number one, research a lot. So you can investigate keywords. I'll be sharing some of the tools that you can use to do that as well. Also, use keywords a whole lot on your website. So if you're writing about what's it called, a keyword, you should make sure that you use it appropriately. This does not mean maybe you should spam your own content with the keyword. No, use it appropriately, right? Also, your content should be fresh. It should be adding value to someone. You shouldn't be telling us about marketing today and you are not including digital marketing. It's almost not relevant to anybody, right? Also, use multimedia. Communicate using videos, images, and the likes. Also, create content that can be turned into answers on search engine, right? So what you really want to do is make your content answer questions, right? And this is why a whole lot of people recommend that you make your sub topics or your H2 subheadings. You should really make them about answering questions. So I really want to say, okay, what are the best practices? What's it called? How to get the right characteristics of a what's it called? No, I really want to tell you how best practices for building a website. I want to tell you how to get the best website builder out there. I really want to tell you, are you using the right website builder for your business? Because you really have to use a different website builder if you're building for e-commerce, if you're building just a blog, if you're building for portfolio and all of that. So these are the questions that someone who's writing a content around using a website builder really wants to answer, right? Also, you want to go in depth. Don't write shallow content. Have as much subtopics as you can. I remember one of our content creator reached out to me yesterday. He wanted to write about marketing lessons you can learn from the European Super League. And he just probably just sent me 3 things. And I felt like, no, you've not really gone in that. So I had to break it down into different subtopics, and it felt like, wow, this is really making sense. So what it does is it tells the bots, for instance, that, oh wow, this is really deep. The person really has gone in depth and as much as 2,000 words to tell us about different parts, right, of how what's it called, of different marketing lessons that we can learn for ESL, because the person spoke about partnership, the person spoke about failure in partnership, the person spoke about different actors and all of that, and these were the subtopics I listed out for him. So with all of these, you can be sure that you will get to the top of Google at least in due time, right? But then a whole lot of people try to cut corners. So I really encourage you to use the best SEO practices in your activities. It's not rocket science. It's just by obeying some of the things I've listed here and updating your knowledge. Probably this is just an introductory class, and that's why I'm not going in depth. But maybe we have some bloggers in the house who will probably have questions as it goes by. So please just keep any of your questions. So how do you really want to ensure that you abiding by the best SEO practices? What you really want to do is, one, for your topic research, you want to use some tools to know about what people are actually searching for. And there are a lot of these tools. We have Google Search Console, we have Answer the Public, we have SEMrush. Social media platforms as well are places where you can get what people are searching for. I gave an example last week where I wrote about how brands responded to XRs, because I felt that a whole lot of guys were dragging brands, and there was this supermarket that was looted, but then they felt like it's more difficult to build a country than it is to build a supermarket, right? So that really got a whole lot of people to be like, oh wow, you guys really care so much about our country. The next time after all of this is over, I'm coming to shop at your place, right? So that kind of sparked an interest in me that I really want to know how brands are responding. And I wrote about it, and it's ranked as the #1 article on Google in that category, right? And of course, you can know all of these things, but if you do not have a content strategy, you're going nowhere, right? So I'll be sharing a bit of content strategies and how you can map out your content strategy, either as a business owner, either as an individual, either as a multinational corporation, because really, I've had the opportunity to work with some interesting websites that get as much as over 600,000 visits every month, right? And I know what these guys do, but what they do is not supernatural. These are things that you should do, but they don't do it averagely, and they do it really well. So what are the things you really want to know? You want to know about search intent. So every individual search intent fall into four categories. People either want to buy, they either want to know, they either want to confirm, or they want to ask, right? So how do you make your content answer each of these questions without falling short of the first page? That is left to you. So irrespective of the niche you have, let's say you run an e-commerce store, you really want to push a content out that tells people how to buy. You really want to push content out that tells people what to know. You really want to push content out that confirms people's what's it called? That changes people's doubts, that confirms their understanding about your product and all of that. And you really want to answer them when they ask. So your content really should fall within this and not go out. Surfing in, right? So what really matters in SEO? Authority. So authority is everything that you really want to aim at in your SEO activities. You want to make sure that a whole lot of guys are sharing your blog content. And of course, there's this cliche I saw from someone I really respect so much. He said, content is useless, distribution is key. So your content is really useless if you are not distributing it. And what distributing really helps you to get is it gets you engagement, it gets you all of this really. So distributing your content really well gets you the authority you need, because you get shares and you increase the chances of people increasing what's it called, linking back to your article. And also another thing it does is it engages your website, and it drives engagement rather to your website. So if you're sharing your content on a community of about 10,000 people and you have 2,000 visits every day, people will be like, wow, this guy is really making a whole lot of sense. Let's push him small, right? So Google just keeps pushing you, and as Google pushes you, more people get to engage and it gets better. Remember, we're writing for two entities. We're writing for humans and we're writing for bots. So when you write for the bot gets to understand what you do and it pushes it to human. And also reputation, really. SEO matters for the reputation. Sites operating the same way for years carries weight. So you don't really want to do this today, do that another thing tomorrow and all of that. You want to carve a niche for yourself. For instance, at Sabon, we've carved a niche for ourselves that involves around organizational management, marketing, right, and e-commerce activities. So if you go to our website, everything you see evolves around this really. So if we're writing on psychology, we're writing on psychology as it affects organizational management or as it affects individuals. So yeah, if you could make us, so some of you are probably feeling like, oh wow, with this I should be on the #1, I should be on the #1 page of Google by weekend. Well, it takes time to rank well on Google, sometimes months, sometimes 6 months and the likes. So thank you so much for showing up. These are the resources we use during the course, I used rather during the course of this section. And of course, this section was facilitated by Sapiens, that is Savon, in conjunction with Yali. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Uriel. Thank you so much.
So at this point, I feel I think we have to go off and join